Hi, how y'all doing today? I am on my 11th sit here. I'll be here for a month, which is great because I really need to work on a combination of detoxing and mentally, um, spiritually, and part of that is I'm going to change my eating. Not it's not well. Let me put it like this. I'm a meat eater. Got to this particular house sit yesterday evening. It was already dark out. I had been traveling for almost 14 hours to get here. The nuances of coming in new to a space. I am actively working on my shadows, things about me and my personality that and behaviors that I have, and kind of doing a deep dive into those and what happens, as opposed to just, that's just part of me and that's how I'm going to be and I'm not going to change, and that kind of attitude that I've had over the years, over the decades type of thing. Or trying to change without knowing the where the particular triggers, where they started, how did that come about. So, but yeah, I'm going to be talking about that today. This particular sit, like I said, I just got here yesterday. Um, it's nice. I can see themes in each room. Um, she asked me to conserve resources, so the heater, because it is still kind of cool here. So what I've decided is during the daytime, when I'm out here in amongst the area here, I kind of try to keep it warm. But at night, when I go to bed, because I'm able to close my door, um, the cats have full range of the house. I do have a couple of cats here. One of them she stays away. The other one it took her about maybe 45 minutes before she started approaching me when I first got here. Now she's over my lap and wanting to pet. Not long sessions, but a few minutes. But he's a hunter. So as I'm petting him, I have to have a blanket on my chest because he's doing that clawing, relaxing for him, clawing, and I don't want my chest all scratched up. He likes to get up on my chest, and relax. And it's relaxing to me as long as I have something to cover up. Um, I'm learning they have a very not a lot of treats so far that I've seen. I'll keep looking, but they don't have a lot of treats like most pets have. They just have their dry food and some dental treats. But other than that, I don't see any other treats here. And the milk, she does get which is great. She doesn't use the cat milk; she uses regular milk. Um, and so, uh, but yeah, working on that. Um, I'm getting better about zones, putting my belongings in areas that, not spreading them out that I'm used to doing. But what I wanted to talk about, and this message is for women who have been, how can I put it, have their character and have their character undermined while they were growing up, be it through abuse in the house, for stuff that went on in the household that they were living in, be it, for me in my particular, it was a combination of character assassination, emotional distress, and uh, sexual dysfunction that I was exposed to. And so, and I was always in a fight in a fight mode in my environment growing up with my parents and siblings. I was always defensive because of the environment that I was in. I'm author of a book, Wisdom Gifts, Embracing the Legacy of Our Lessons. I'm co-author with 27, 28 other authors. I think it was all women, if I'm not mistaken, all Black women. Growing up very defensive, protective, in that type of environment. Unfortunately, I've carried that over to adulthood. Currently, I am in Australia doing house sits, striving to fill in gaps. Right now, I am booked here for several more months, but I do have, a week. I have a week at the end of next month coming up that I'm trying to fill in, and then in January, between January and May, I have a significant month, like 4.5 month gap there that I need to fill in. But I've had a few online interviews, and I've had a few face-to-face interviews, and one I had a couple of days ago, before I left my last sit, that I had access to a car, and the sit coming up was it was 2 dogs. It wasn't too far from where I was at, so I was able to drive there within 30 minutes to get there to interview with the people. And basically, I blew the interview, is what it amounted to. They were going to go with me, and they said they were going to confirm and stuff like that. And after I didn't hear from a day, I sent, for a few hours, because usually when people say they're going to confirm you, they'll send it right away, within a couple of days. I didn't hear from them. And when they sent, and it was like, okay, what, and I'm thinking to my top of head, okay, what happened? What got said? What happened? And after I realized, and it took me a couple of days, part of it, the lady sent something, but it was what she said she removed the dates, and she said they heard back from an extended family member that would be able to sit for them. And had it not been for the fact that I've had a couple other interviews that did and when I say didn't go well, that means I didn't get the assignment. I shouldn't say didn't go well, but I didn't get the assignment, which was a little unnerving for me. But I realized because she said extended family member, and usually what happens with those, when people post house sits, a lot of times they've already gone through their family and people that know about them and asked if they're going to watch them. I mean, the asking somebody you just met or a stranger to come into your home and watch your pets while you're gone it's an interview process. You're looking at applications, you're interviewing people, you're talking to people that you don't know, you're hoping that they got the best interest at heart. Don't always do, but that's what you're looking for. And so it's a process. So to go with people that you don't know absolutely nothing about, that's a last resort. By then you would have asked family members, friends, neighbors, anybody to watch your pets while you're gone. And so when she put in there that extended family member, I was like, extended means not a direct relative, not a mother, father, siblings. This is somebody that you probably haven't heard. It may not even be blood related, an extended family member. So that means this person was maybe somebody that you asked before. She didn't really say. Potentially, it was somebody that after she spoke to me, it was like, And I thought about the interview process, and it was like there were several comments that I made, and I'm not a what you call it, a poker face. I don't have a poker face. I don't, from looking at my face where even if I don't say it verbally, you can tell that there is doubt, there is questioning, there is various, I would say the sarcasm that comes out of my mouth is similar to the sarcasm that with the look on my face. And so part of being here in this culture is different. It's just different. And and it made me think, that came later. Actually, part of what happened also was on the train on the way down here, my partner that I was sitting next to in the seat, which was very rare. The train ride was interesting in the sense of the train is usually not that crowded, but the dispatch, whoever assigns the seats, this particular case on this train, the seats were not very well matched up on the sign. I saw several empty seats. What I've experienced since I've been here catching a train is you would have a seat next to people weren't, how can I put it? People weren't sitting together that were not related going the full ride of the train. And so I was on the train from the very beginning. I'm sitting next to a lady who went the full ride of the train. I went halfway. We got, each one of us got up at different times. I've got to go back and forth to the bathroom. There were so many empty seats, double seats that were empty, that I'm thinking, why would they put me and her together for the full ride, especially since she was an outside seat and all these other seats in here are empty. I had not had that before since I've been riding the train here. So, whatever happened with the dispatcher who arranged the seats, they didn't. I was not really pleased with this range. The lady sitting next to me was nice enough. We talked, just talked about growing up and different things. But the first thing she said, one of the first things she said to me, we were talking, she said, "You're American." And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Okay, I won't hold that against you." And when she said it, I was like, "What?" And she said, "Us Aussies, we don't really care for Americans." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then it dawned on me different things that since I've been here, different things that I've said to people that, and it's been a combination of, how can I put it? Mainly probably triggered by my banter or sarcasm or whatever you want to say it. They took it as rude, and maybe it was a backing way of being rude, but in the US, people, when I say stuff like that, they'll either blow me off or whatever, or they'll come back. A lot of times they'll do a comeback, but it doesn't, I don't think, it doesn't necessarily ruin the relationship. But here it has. It's a combination of my frankness with people, my letting people know what I really think. It's a language, even though they're using English, this is more based on British English. Even people in the US are racist, but the level of racism here is different. The people here are they don't act like they're afraid of you like they do like white people in the US. But they are very unexpectedly of you being because I classify myself as being an equal, and that's how I address them. They're not used to me not giving them deference, not doing what do you call it, self-abasement. I'm I'm challenging them in some ways. If none other than my physical presence, I look them directly in the eye. I'm not looking down. I'm not. I don't do that. I don't. And I don't think I did that in the U.S. If I did, I don't know. I don't recall doing that and doing that in the U.S. either. So, but anyway, but being uh in the position that I'm in of needing basically inexpensive, low cost or no cost accommodations, I am asking them to, in exchange for looking after their pets, I need basically somewhere to stay for no cost or very little cost. And part of that very little cost is having access to food, groceries. This particular set, when we did the video interview, she had items in her refrigerator, and she said, basically it'll be stuff here. She said I could use anything on the shelf, just don't leave the shelves bare. Anything in the freezer, replace the freezer. When she opened the freezer, it wasn't a lot of freezer. When I got here 3 days later, almost everything except sauces that she had that was in the refrigerator, she moved it to the freezer. So it is not my intention to fully use up any, and I will replace items. Her particular case, the eggs, I checked them, there's 2 eggs left in the box. There's no meat. She had meat in there when we did the phone interview. She put everything in the freezer. And so I'm a little, she said the grocery store was not far from here. She had did a video when she showed it was the back of something. And I'm looking at, since I've been here, which was last night, but on the way in, this is a full neighborhood. I'll check my map to see how far the grocery store is, but I'm not seeing where that is. But anyway, but I'll look it up. I shouldn't base her out like that, but matter of fact, let me do that right now while I'm talking. But yeah, one of the things I realized about me is when I do best when I get to when I get the house sit for a pet and the owners are not there. Okay, this is 300 feet, half a mile, a mile. Okay, these places are not that close. A mile, because I don't have a car. Yeah, these well, it says this place is decently priced in March. This is what's the IGA? Okay, 300 feet. Okay, all right, I take that back. I guess I'm, maybe it is the back of the store or something like that. But I'll probably get over it tomorrow. Okay, well that's good. That was a relief. But one of the things of my interviewing, which brings me back to the people that I've interviewed before I came here for, it was sitting between a gap. It's basically a week in between. The comment that the lady made on the train, I really had to backtrack and think, okay, I had this assignment when I got there. What happened? And basically what it amounted to, I was defensive. I felt, I talked about stuff that not necessarily, how can I put it? Probably insulted their lifestyle. I mean, the house was beautiful. It was relatively simple, beautiful yard. The dogs, we clicked as soon as I got there. The guys were showing me how to do the remote on the TV, which I have a little bit of a challenge with when it's two. He was working on that, but it was different snide remarks looking back that I made that they didn't even, we were just talking about different stuff, and they didn't ask me my politics, they didn't ask me my religion. I was call myself joking about a remark about one of the dogs on one of the previous six, about one of the things that the owner said about the dog getting away. And my comment was, even if they get away, they know what time dinner is, they'll be back. They didn't, they were slightly chuckle like, and so one of the things that I try to do is, if people are not responding to, how can I put it? If people are not responding to some of the things, I'll change the subject. And so I went from that to, we end up basically a little bit about religion. And the lady said she was a Baptist Pentecostal, which I had never heard of since I've been here. I mean, I've heard of it, but talking to people that I'm here, I've heard of what they call the Uniting Church, which is a couple of religions that they merged together and called Uniting. I've heard of Anglican, Catholic, Episcopalian, Methodist. But when she said she was a combination of Baptist, Pentecostal, I was taken aback. It just surprised me. I told her I was basically a Catholic. I said, I believe in Christianity, but I don't do religion. It's too restrictive. And come to find out, she was a pastor, what do you call it? Chaplain. And so, again, the look on her face, maybe she felt like I was insulting her faith, which, I mean, she said that she said something about being spiritual, and I basically agreed. And I told her, I said, I'm spiritual too. I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. Didn't come across too good. The guy talked about one of the mineral springs they have here, and he said Coca-Cola had bought the rights to the spring. So basically everything coming out of the ground in the area is basically in that area is basically garnered to Coca-Cola because they had the rights. And my response was, and I was being honest with him. I said, I'm on a lifelong protest against Coca-Cola. Didn't go over good. He looked like, and maybe he worked for Coca-Cola. I don't know. I think in the future, probably what I'll do is ask what the people do before I start jabbing like that. Yeah, but he was not, again, they just looked at me just like, okay. Another thing was, he said roof collection of water. And again, like I said, I don't do poker face. When he said roof rainwater, I'm used to in the States, when people get roof rainwater, it's usually to water, when it gets a drought or something like that, it's to water plants on the outside, mainly sometimes to flush the toilet, but as drinking water, I'm just not, I'm not used. I've heard of well water in the US, artesian wells, that kind of, water that comes out of the ground that, just from the earth's crust has been filtered through the ground. I'm used to that. But rainwater roof collection, I'm thinking dirt, tar on the roof, bird poop, exposure. I mean, he could probably tell from the look on my face, it was just, I was just like, and I finally said, okay, do y'all have some kind of filtration system for that? And he said, yeah, it goes through a filtration system. And I was like, oh, okay. But my enthusiasm on it, because they started excusing, well, it's the best kind of water you can have. And, it still, has its energy from the rain and stuff like that. But I was like, oh, okay. But my probably not asking questions, because at the same time, I didn't want to judging from our interaction, I didn't want to ask the wrong question. So I didn't say a whole lot of anything. I just kind of changed the subject again. She bought me a glass to taste, and I did, and it was decent, clear, no aftertaste. It was decent water. And I had a few questions about the dog's behavior while they were gone. And at the same time, I told them I'm not going to be gone that much. I might go to the grocery, and maybe, now to think about it, maybe that might have been part of what it was, because I had a vehicle when I got there that I was borrowing from the sit that I was on, but they had a vehicle that said I could use, but they had to get it repaired. So maybe that was what it was. Basically it was like, I'm only there for 5 or 6 days. I go to the grocery store when we get there, because I was going to be there the day before they left. I could have gone to the grocery store, and I told them ahead of time. Usually what happens, people pick me up, take me to the grocery store for short sits. I'm there for the whole time period. In this case, it'll be up to a week. And when they get back, they take me back to the train station, and I'm gone, whatever. And I try to monitor what I buy and stuff like that, a combination with what I buy and what the homeowner has. Usually a week is not that long. And so whatever I bought or whatever, if it's opened or used or anything like that, I just leave it. That's my contribution. I think here I bought one item here that I had opened. The rest of the stuff I hadn't opened. Whatever I had opened when I left there, I had some preserves that I left. I want to say maybe 8 eggs, some bacon, a little bit of hamburger meat, some nuts, just different, some fruit, different things that I left there. And if it's a large quantity, I might split some. That was part of the weight of my bags. I bought some of the food here that I had split with them. I had some fruit that I bought that I split with them, some potatoes that I split with them that I had just recently bought. Any jars that were open, if anything, I left. Some milk that I bought 2. One of them I had not opened. I bought that one with me. And the other one that I had opened it left there. So that's what I usually do when I go into a space, and I'm going to be here for quite a while. So the items that I bought here, they'll be gone. I might have a jar or 2 of some unopened items here because of the way I'm going to change my eating habits while I'm here, just to get on a combination of paring down, trying to clear my mind, yet giving my body, because as far as I know, I don't have any major health challenges. I don't have heart, diabetes, cancer. I mean, none of that stuff that I know of. I didn't have it when I left the U.S. I'll put it like that. It hasn't shown up, been found. But just because it hasn't been found doesn't mean I'm not paying attention to my body. I try to pay attention to my body. Right now, I'm having a little bit of stiff joint, so I know I'm overeating something. When I got here, um, a combination of the level of stress. I know, so I got here, I started looking for crunchy shit, chips. I ate chips. I ate some crunchy rice crackers this morning. I got up opening up some cookies for the crunch. And so I know when I want something crunchy, and it's the same thing with meat crunchy when I'm nervous, meat when I'm angry. So um the crunchiness when I got here, and after probably the second of, I went through a whole pack of crackers, rice crackers, and it was like, okay, what's going on here? And it was and it was kind of, I was nervous. Uh, and why? Because the next sit that I interviewed for was a month. So this was too much worrying for such a short time period. Um, and then also the realization that um, I had insulted them in their home. And I had to really get quiet and ask myself, okay, where did that come from? And that's something that's common for me. Um, I don't, I have a bad habit of being sarcastic and insulting. And so I really had to get quiet with myself yesterday evening, combination of going in and out of sleep or getting ready to go to sleep and kind of going into that phase and realizing where it started from. It started from having my boundaries invaded when I was young, having um, just this fight mode in my own living environment, and I brought it into adulthood. And so I realized that I am very insulting to people, especially in their home, and it's not necessary. It comes out being insulting because of a protective mode that I have not yet let go. Um, I didn't realize it, didn't necessarily associate it with insulting them. It's more about protecting myself. Um, so it's mm, thinking about now over the years, how many people that I've insulted, how many people that I've felt the need to be protective in their space, in their home, in their environment. Um, Years ago, there was a lady working at the homeless shelter, and one day we were talking, and she was literally scared of being indoors. And she talked about in this particular case, it was when she was married. And she married to a guy. There was a white lady, a Caucasian lady. She was married to a guy who had a lot of money. And I forgot what his job was, and he was abusive to her. And when she started asking her mother's responses is, unfortunately, with a lot of people, that's a good man, he has a good job, basically you put up with it. And she talked about how she had two children that she was estranged from. He managed to turn the children on her. He got her committed. He was abusive. She said as long as they were out in public, he was wonderful. She said as soon as we got home, the abuse started. He pushed her down the stairs. She broke both her legs. He broke both her legs. I don't know if he knocked her down there. She beating her up all the time at the house. Talking to her bad. Just the level of abuse. She was literally scared of being. She talked about how many times she called the police. They would come and he would talk them out, and then he would when they would leave, she would get another beating. He put her out a few times. It seemed like, if I'm not mistaken, the one time they were driving and he pushed her out of the car while the car was rolling. She was literally terrified of being indoors. And without that level of abuse for me, I realized that I am the same way, especially when there's other people there. And it doesn't matter who they are. It could be family, it could be acquaintances. I know now, and part of this house sitting, I will be living by myself for the rest of my life. That's the only way that I can feel comfortable. Um, when I get to a house sit, it's really best if the owner is not there. The interaction, hopefully they documented enough stuff and left enough notes or pictures of what I need and to be gone. Because my interaction with people inside or around their house is very defensive. I get along well with pets, fabulous with pets. Pets were my lifesaver when I was younger. They don't judge, they don't they don't talk. They let you know immediately if I've gone too far, or I generally leave pets alone, let them come to me, be it whatever, dogs, cats. Aside from me walking into a house, like I've had some dogs that I've gone to and I've gone and they bark and yelp or whatever. But the main thing is, let conversing with the owner, as long as we're, how can I put it? As long as we're conversing over the online, I'm good. I'm perfectly fine. Interaction goes good, stuff like that. But it's the face-to-face, in-person contact that is very stressful for me. I feel the need to protect, and part of that protection is offset. Get away from me type of, you're too close. And so I'm learning. That was a realization that hit me pretty hard. But now that I know, because it's something that I've been dealing with all my life without not knowing why I was, generally people don't invite me to their home. They will generally meet me somewhere. Friends would invite me one time and they usually see my behavior and my level of disrespect towards them and they don't invite me back. And so over the years, people talking about, not having friends or growing to be lonely. I don't look at it as lonely. I being by myself, I don't look at it as lonely. I have had a few people ask me, do I want to be married again? I'm not excluding again. I don't mind probably being married, at least offhand. The only stipulation is that I have my own place. Right now, there are, it's kind of I ain't gonna say it's a new thing, but it's getting more well known of married couples having separate spaces. And I think in my particular case, and there was a lady that I was listening to online, her and her husband both had separate apartments. They had apartments before. No, they didn't. Before they got married, and over the years they decided that they wanted to have, and this was either her third or fourth marriage, and basically that's what she said. She realized that she needed her own space, so she keeps her apartment, he keeps her own apartment. They work together, they have a business together, they're with each other all day at the business. She said when they want to get together to commune or whatever, have sex or whatever they do and talk and it's stuff in detail they do. And when that part is over, they go their own separate spaces. I can do that. I can do that. That to me is ideal as far as a relationship, a long-term relationship. As I work on myself more naturally, that partner with somebody that I have to be attracted to, and vice versa, that I have to be attracted to me. A level of sexual maturity. And sexual maturity to me is exclusivity. And it's not because of flirting with other people or something like that. For me, it's a matter, at my age, it's a matter of health. I don't want to be exposed to any STDs or anything like that, especially at my age, where other people are included. That's what scares me, not necessarily the fact that they're having an affair or whatever, or I'm having an affair, but it's that level of disease and other, just mainly the level of disease and the emotional inconsistencies that could happen with having an affair. So, but yeah, that's why I'm looking for somebody who's gotten to a level of sexual maturity that they want to be, I don't even know the word for it, single, while, during the course of being married. So, but yeah, but that's for me is the minimum of being married is me having my own separate space. The short time that I was married to my son's father, I got to the point of being able to, before we got divorced, we had an apartment with 2 rooms. And I took, basically, when I had my son, I took the second bedroom. He did not like that. He didn't like that. But I knew then that I needed my own space. And so over the years, trying to deal with that, trying to negotiate and, dating a few times with people, it's better. Actually, for me, the spark is better when we're not there all the time with each other. The intimacy and the sexual spark is there when we've been apart for a few days or whatever, physically apart. I mean, we still talk on the phone. I'm thinking about a guy I was dating. We still talked on the phone, and did face-to-face time, but yeah, the no touching was great for our level of intimacy for the time period that we were together. So, and I felt good being in my own space. And so, the decision that I'll make, and I'll know better in the next few days, because I'm going to and I say this video is not going to be long. Okay, better. I don't know my own time. Okay. So what I'm going to be doing is what I consider to be a intermittent fast. For my breakfast is going to be fruit. Up to 3 pieces of fruit is going to be my breakfast. My dinner is going to be vegetables. And my lunch in between, probably halfway between what I plan for breakfast and dinner. So breakfast, and the reason why I say that is because I don't get up and eat. I don't have a regular time that I wake up, particularly now with cats. I don't have to be up in the morning, like if I had a dog or whatever, and they have an automatic feeder, to play with the dog. The cats here are pretty chill. Whatever time I get up is one of the cats I haven't seen yet. Like I said, the other cat, get up and pet her for a while, feed her breakfast. I do put their breakfast out. They have a little snack that they take. That he's very vocal today. Let me know you're missing something here. So I looked around and I remember she had done video. She did a little snack. Got him his milk. After that, he was fine. The sun came out. He's in and out. The other cat is hiding around here somewhere. I could hear her bell going. She's hiding underneath cabinets and furniture and stuff. I'm not chasing her as long as I know she's got food. Empty the kitty litter box. So, but anyway, so morning, the fruit, whatever time I get up, 3.5 to 4 hours later, I'll do my lunch. Now, lunch could be whatever I want to eat. I will try to watch my quantity of meat that I eat for lunch, but main meal, lunchtime once a day, and then 4.5 to 5 hours later, I will have my dinner. Again, consisting of all vegetables for dinner. And then try to limit the number of snacks I have in between. Not necessarily excluding items, but backing off on the quantity of them. Instead of having 10 cookies, I might only have 4. Or instead of 20 fried crackers, I realized I ate a whole pack yesterday because of crunchiness, but still it was probably 50 crackers that I ate. Maybe I only have 10. Okay, so, but the main thing that I'm focused on right now is cutting back on the meat, kind of giving my body time to where it's not such a drastic change. Only because of my health, I don't have to do that. If I knew or felt like there was some major health challenges, right now my major health challenge is my joints, is moving around. I mean, I still move around, but I could feel it. And in the morning, when I wake up and I have that body stiffness, and that mucusy, what people scrape their tongues. And for me, it looks like mucus. So I need to cut down on that. I need to let my body time to detox. At the same time, I'm not sitting into meat. I don't have meat withdrawals. So that element is there, but it doesn't need to be the quantity of meat that I've been eating. So that's what I'm going to be here for a month. So that's going to be what I'm going to be working on here for a month. But the message that I have for what I realized in my own triggers, that message is for anybody. Like I said, for anybody who's been abused, emotionally, sexually, physically, probably spiritually, inside of their own home, especially growing up from a young age. If you know that you have that's the defense mechanism for me that I've been using is, and now that I know that about me, I am going to be very strong with when people tell me, especially when I'm here looking for house sits and people say they want to meet me in person. I am not, no, I'm going to try to figure out a nice way to tell them that because of my background and triggers and interactions that I've had with people that I grow up with, I prefer not to meet you in person. I can deal with a lot of clean issues or whatever with that. I'll try to get across to them that I am very friendly to pets. I've been able to averse some very aggressive dogs, and by the time I got ready to leave, they didn't want me to go. Very close. I've been able to avert all of that. I've had 17 house sits right now. 16 of them have been with pets, dogs and cats. The level of personalities that let me see. Have I been bit? Nope. No, put it like this. Sometimes when we're playing, usually tug of war with the dog, and I'm not paying attention and they reach to grab it, I might get nipped while they're trying to grab the item that we're playing tug of war with. Getting scratched by cats, I generally stay away. I've had a few standoffs with a couple of cats, but as long as I'm not being aggressive with them, I'm just standing my ground. You're gonna get fed. You're gonna get pet if you want to. I'll clean your litter box, and I'll leave you space if you want to go outside, which I believe in. I prefer, animals or whatever roaming. If you want to go outside, we can do that. Hey, I'm flexible. So, but yeah, like I said, now that I realize that, I'm gonna discourage people from meeting me in person, and it's best that they're gone when I get there. If I get there, maybe a few hours, but now that I know and I feel that level of sarcasm coming on, I need to either not say anything. If I didn't feel the need to say anything, change it to something positive. Keep it simple. Don't talk too much. Don't tell people, maybe tell some people some pleasant things that you've had done in the past. Most of the time, people start talking about their parents and how wonderful they are. I need to figure out a nice way to say, that's good. I'm glad you had that relationship with your parents, or somehow, or um, pick a few positive lessons that I've had from my parents, because there were some. There were quite a few. But as far as emotional support and all, I saw them get that to my siblings. I just didn't get it. So I'll try to use that as an example, but try to keep it short and sweet. And hopefully, use the stuff that I carry with me as a distraction of, okay, let me get settled in, and just decrease the amount of exposure that I have with the owner while they're there, because I'm finding that's best for me, because I feel the need to protect, and I feel threatened with uh, in a physical environment with people. So that's what I've learned about my shadow self. For me, it's triggers. Okay, so if you got something out of this, let me know. If not, if you want to comment, maybe some similar issues that you have, or somebody, or maybe that's a realization that you've learned about somebody, and you don't really know what's going on. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a trained therapist. At this point, I'm not coaching. Not for that. So I'm still learning how to heal, learning my own triggers and stuff like that. But I am working on my shadows right now. That's the part of the therapy that I'm going in for myself. But anyway, thanks for listening. If you like what I said, and that's great, like, subscribe, share this video with somebody. Kind of like a back end way of, this is why I don't like you around me. I love you, but you're too negative or whatever, because it might be a trigger for them too. So, all right, y'all, take care. Thanks for listening. Bye. Oh, I'm sorry, Deborah. Radical Health Series. Glad you're here. All right, y'all, take care.